What's going on, everybody? Welcome in for another video. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these sit down videos, Rudy style a little bit. First things first, I just wanted to thank everybody for subscribing. This channel is small. I do a lot of random stuff, other card games, box openings. I'm going to try and evolve the channel a little bit moving forward. Gonna do some outside the box thinking, but first and foremost, like I said, I just wanted to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I try to respond to as many comments as I can. I'm zooming in on like 150 subscribers right now, which in comparison to other channels isn't a lot, but for me, a startup YouTube channel that my work schedule's crazy. I get up at like 2 a.m. for my real job. And, when I get home in the afternoon, sometimes I just don't feel like making a video. And that kind of leads me into the point of this video. Lord of Itza kind of beat me to the punch. I watched his video earlier today, and he had a lot of, great topics. You've probably seen him, around the sorcery circuit. His name's Josh, and he has a great channel, great member of the community, and I try to be as well. Sorcery right now, he said the word, and I'm gonna say it too. It's in kind of a lull right now. Like, we really don't have much chatter going on. There's not a lot of engagement in my eyes at the local level, and moving on up the chain, and it's kind of disheartening to see because the game is so good, and I know that anybody that would play sorcery for the first time would really like it. There's no other game on the market that's like it. It's very innovative in its gameplay, and I like it so much that it just it bums me out a lot to see people not playing the game as much. People aren't opening as much product, and that kind of leads into their model for what they wanted to do for the game, which I think moving forward, I think they're going to kind of need to evolve, because this coming year, we're in 2025 right now. I think that 2025, you're going to see a lot of stiff competition. There's a lot of games go to Kickstarter like Sorcery did, and like what some other games that I've been involved in, and what I'm doing on the side here now. They start on Kickstarter, and a lot of them fail. Like, some of them don't get funded. Some of them get funded, and they're kind of like a rug pull kind of thing, or they have like 2 or 3 sets and they kind of peter out a little bit. But I think that something definitely needs to happen in order for the game to continue on the trajectory that it was on. This video is not going to face too many collectability topics. I think I've beat that into the ground with my opinion on it. Alpha is the investment set. It's the collectible set. Sorcery, it's very hard to collect the foil set. And I think we all know, if you've seen some of my other videos, my philosophy on the reprint. And now with Team Covenant being out, and the beta boxes aren't even listed on their site anymore, which leads me to believe, with whatever kind of reprint that Eric's Curiosa does plan, or what they have moving forward, it's going to be very small. And right now, those beta boxes on TCG Player are around the $200 mark. I know the holidays and the end of the year kind of create a lull, but I'm in a few different Discords, and I kind of get some of the same responses with when I'm like, every other game goes through the holidays too. There's other up and coming games, and there's people at LGSs playing games through the holidays. I myself, I haven't played a game of Sorcery since there was a small tournament, I think the middle of December. I actually have not touched a Sorcery card since then, and I love playing the game. I've had plans to play at my LGS, and plans fall through. I'm victim, the holiday stuff too. I'm always, posting shorts and, looking online and, kind of tinkering with some decks online. But in paper, I haven't touched a sorcery card, which kind of bums me out now that I'm saying it out loud, since middle of December. There's sort of, I don't know if it's just me, but there's like a lack of engagement in smaller player accounts. There's a lack of news, and with one set a year, you kind of need to keep the pedal down. You need to keep something. You need to do something to keep us interested. If they want to continue with the one set a year model, you got to do something to keep us interested. You can't just say, hey, we got a Dragon Lord set coming out and it's 13 cards, and a lot of people have questions about that. But just wait for it. We still don't have a release date. I have some opinions on that. I'm a big fan of Ed Beer Jr. I love the art. I think the flavor of the set is going to be great. With it being 13 cards, once again, I love this game. I'm going to trust the process. Somehow 13 cards is probably going to affect the meta, if you would call it that, with the competitive side of the game. But yeah, I think that it will probably release somewhere along the lines of when he does his Kickstarter for his art book. And that hasn't even, as far as I know, I don't think it's been listed on Kickstarter. I know he talked about it in one of the interviews. But yeah, there's no, other than Collector Art House, when Mike, said that he's part of like the Sorcery Con kind of committee or group, whatever you want to call it, with them trying to do like smaller events and then leading to a Sorcery Con kind of culmination of the year. We haven't heard anything yet. And to go from Arthurian Legends releasing in October, and then a few weeks later Sorcery Con happens, and then it's just radio silence from there. They've done a few videos and announcements and gameplays and stuff like that, but nothing as far as like, I'm gonna beat roadmap into the ground. I think I think roadmaps for this type of thing are necessary. I don't need anybody or want anybody or expect anybody to keep their word. Like, I know distribution, printing, logistics, all that stuff come into play, but a roadmap of what you have planned or what you want to do, how you think the game's going to evolve, something like that just makes people feel better. Like I said earlier, beta is now effectively out of stock, and it's been unlisted from the Team Covenant. Beta boxes are trending towards 200. Sorcery is no longer listed on the top games list on TCG Player. I don't know much. I buy a few things on TCG Player every once in a while. I try to, stick to the Discords to avoid, taxes, shipping, waiting 2 weeks for a plain white envelope kind of thing. People sending, $40, $50 cards in an envelope without tracking kind of feels bad. But I think that I think that the TCG Player thing, whether it is with sales, I don't know. I know Sorcery was the highest selling indie game on TCG Player last year, and I think that's a great thing. But I think something definitely needs to happen moving forward to keep this game that I love, and I know the community is great. Like, we have a ton of content creators. Content has slowed down quite a bit. Like I said, my work schedule kind of kills my vibe when I get home. I drive a truck all day, and sometimes when I get home, I'm just kind of not in the mood to deal with cards. And to be honest, I want to make effective content for you guys too. And if there's not much to talk about, then I can't make a video every day. That'll get boring. I think I've seen a kind of a downward trend in the purchase of products, playing the game, opening product. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I want this game to succeed. And like I said earlier, like 2025, it's gonna be crazy. Like if you're in the card world, you probably watch a few Rudy videos here and there. Pokemon is going nuts with prismatic evolutions. Like that ETB is, checked it earlier, it's $136 on TCG Player today. And even the Pokemon company, like they released a statement today. People are having trouble getting a hold of the boxes. You know, people are getting allocated. Pre-orders are getting canceled, which that's a different topic for a different video. But you know, they're going to be printing more. Who knows if this is going to be the thing that, you know, kind of burst the bubble for Pokemon. And then it's leading into, I think, Journey Together, and that's already pre-ordered, sold out somehow. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen with Team Rocket. I'm expecting Team Rocket will probably have a big print run because everybody's going to want to buy it. I, myself included, I'm a big vintage Pokemon fan. I'm not big into, you know, recent Pokemon, but I've kind of thought about it because I haven't been playing Sorcery as much, but I've found, you know, other games that I play, and Sorcery is my main game. Like, obviously in the card world, you keep an eye on other games, and I'm guilty of it a lot. I get a little bit of flack in some of the discords that I compare, you know. I mentioned earlier that, you know, people are going to play other games at the LGS. They're playing Pokemon, they're playing Magic. Why aren't they playing Sorcery? And it's like, well, Sorcery isn't as big yet. Well, Magic started somewhere, Pokemon started somewhere. Pokemon's kind of on a different level altogether, but you do want your game to grow, and comparing it, it's kind of, I've always, you know, if somebody has a better idea, steal shamelessly. You know, take an idea, evolve it into your own idea, and do it your way, the Sorcery way. Another crazy thing in 2025 is MetaZoo's coming back. MetaZoo 2, or whatever they're gonna call it. I was a big MetaZoo player, big MetaZoo fan. It's actually what got me back into playing competitive TCGs again, and I'm glad I did, because I met some of my closest friends, you know, lifetime friends that I'm gonna have forever. And, you know, it was a cool game, and it made me mad, you know, with how it ended, and with some of the decisions they made. Like when they first announced the tower scene, and, you know, they were basically changing the game for these regional tower events, changing the rules of it. It all makes sense now. You know, it doesn't make sense that they did a Hello Kitty set. I have no clue what that was all about, or, you know, the closure at the end of it. But the MetaZoo art right now, it's looking crazy, and the Discord has high numbers. MetaZoo has a fan base, and I don't know how they're going to handle it coming back, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it, and maybe Sorcery can, you know, take some. You don't want to take too much advice from MetaZoo, but you can learn from everything. There's other card games, like I've mentioned, the beta reprint, my philosophy on that, do a game piece box with no foils, because I will once again beat that idea into the ground that when Gothic comes out, it's most likely going to be a bigger set. I think they've already, you know, said that. If newer players cannot get the basis for a deck with the core cards from beta, they're not going to continue the game. So if you just did some sort of like $80 game piece box, you know, call it the kitchen table box, or something creative like that. Call it a revised box if you want to go down the Magic route, whatever. It could have no foils, it could have different arts. Just some of the cards, or the complete beta set again, just with a different emblem at the bottom. I think that could go a long way, and I think it'll definitely be needed, because you can't run a competitive deck with just Arthurian Legends cards. The Arthurian Legends cards are good, but it's an expansion set, and you need the beta cards slash alpha cards to complement that to complete a a real deck. With precons coming back with Gothic, that's a great sign. I'll still stand on my hill of that. I don't think precons were needed for Arthurian Legends. I think the set was too small, and I think with them changing the deck size from 40-20 to 50-30, I don't know why you would release a 40-20 deck and then have people need to build up a deck. You want a deck to be ready to play right after you get it out of the box. So I think that's one thing that they should take into consideration when they do those precons. If they still want to, have you, put a pack or two in the deck box, and you complete the deck yourself, get it a little bit closer to 50-30. Maybe make it a 45-25, something like that. Add 5 sites, add five spells, and then you're off to the races. The one set a year is what brought me into this game. I want to make sure that's known and clear. It's a very good philosophy on paper, but it's one of the things that I think they need to possibly work on in the future, because once I got a taste of sorcery, I just wanted more. The game is just that good. At the same time, I understand that Eric's Curious is a small company, and if they're growing faster than they planned, or what have you, that's something to consider in the future. If they do choose to stay at one set a year, distribution needs to help out a little bit. Maybe think outside the box with how stores are getting their products, something like that. But I don't know the answers to that. I don't think Eric's Curioso knows the answers to those types of questions. But like I said, I was a MetaZoo player. Like maybe Sorcery can do something along the lines of different kind of rule sets for different kinds of tournaments or events, to keep it fresh. Because right now a lot of people are with it one set a year, you're with the card base that we have right now, you have it until Gothic is here, and Dragon Lord set is only going to add 13 cards. The game will evolve a little bit with that set, but Archmago is running rampant right now, and I think that's just something to think about, because if you go a full year with the same cards, your play testing needs to be flawless, and I think they do a great job with play testing. The rules, the mechanics of the cards, I think it's very, very good with what they do, but it can kind of get stale. Like Arthurian Legends it's a sealed / draft set, expansion set, and I'm not a big sealed fan. I'm definitely not a big draft fan. I've done a few sealed events. They were a lot of fun, but I don't want to play sealed for a year. Like I want to play the cards. Like I want to play Morgana. I want to know that Morgana's in my deck. I don't want to have to build around commons or ordinaries and exceptionals and stuff like that. Those events are fun, but it kind of wears you down, and it just gets kind of stale. I think there's a few things that could definitely be done in 2025 to bring the game back, bring some new players in, and get out of the funk a little bit. Roadmap. I'll say it again. Just tell us what's happening. Tell us a time frame for when Dragon Lord's going to release. Tell us the month that you have planned, barring printing issues, logistics, blah blah blah, of Gothic. Like I said, I've gave my opinion on the Dragon Lord set. I think it's going to release sometime coinciding with Ed Beard Jr.'s his Kickstarter that he's going to be doing for his art book. They could probably do something with increased local support, maybe some event packs, judge packs, different kind of promos that you can win, participation cards, something like that. The Dust Store, we're still waiting on that to update. Can't wait to get a hold of the foil druid and the tokens. For me, binders aren't a big issue. I did buy the binders, but I'm not too big of a binder guy right now. I'll probably be a binder guy once Sorcery is a few years down the road, and I'm just like, I'm not a big collector. I have some foils, like I said in my past videos. I'll buy some foils, or I'll keep the ones that I pull of cards that I use, or I'll bling out a few decks with the reasonably priced cards. But I'm not a foil set completer or foil set collector. But a binder update wouldn't hurt, because I know people want the binders. Attorney season layout, an official one. A lot of the events are community ran, and some that are ran by the actual sorcery crew would be great. If they could announce something along the lines of what this beta reprint is really going to be, if it's just going to be a couple boxes to stores so they can just run, draft and sealed beta, I don't think that reprint is going to help much at all. I think that the sorcery community, with the demographic of this game, with it being like late 20s to early 40s, people get the cards as quick as they can. I know some other people are different. I like completing the sets as quick as I can. I like having play sets, and I like getting just to building my decks. And I think that, that's just something to think about. I think when Gothic is released, I said it earlier, I think that, a revised or a kitchen table game piece type box for beta will definitely be necessary to make sure Gothic is successful. Gothic seems like it's going to be a great set. I'm a horror movie fan. I'm thinking like Nosferatu just came out in theaters like a month ago or something. I don't know. I saw it. It was a great movie, and just thinking like Nosferatu in that set, Nosferatu's castle, Dracula, some other stuff along those lines, undead spirits, Gothic castles, horror elements. It's going to be awesome, and I just want the new player base that when they walk into an LGS or wherever they get the cards from, they see that Gothic box and they're like, okay, now I need that box also. I need those beta cards. These are just a few of the things that I thought over the last few weeks. The end of the year brings a lot of challenges. I'm really hoping that, competition really can make people successful. I'm a competitor at heart. I compete at work. I compete in card games. I've played, TCGs since I was younger, played sports growing up. I always want to try and be the best. I'm not the best sorcery player. I'm actually not very good at all. I'm kind of probably below middle of the road, but I try real hard. And I think as a company, if you keep an eye on what the other companies are doing, take away the good things that they're doing, and look at the bad things that they're doing or that you don't agree with, and just do what you're going to do and evolve. Like I said, I'll knock this into the ground as well. The gameplay of this game is top tier. There's nothing like it. I've recently got into another card game, and Sorcery is still my main card game. I love the game. It's going to be my main one, and the gameplay is just very innovative. And what led me to Sorcery is the gameplay and the art. And there's nothing like it. Nothing else like it on the market. The maneuverability, the grid-based combat, the rules are very easy to pick up. When somebody watches you play a game, they're like, what is going on, and when do I play? That is what I've come across. But it's also hard to get that to happen when you're kind of stalling out a little bit, and then you're not going to your LGS, and you're not playing out in public as much. And that's how you get to grow the game. Content creators playing it out in public at the LGSs events, conventions, and boxes on shelves. You definitely need boxes on shelves. I think 2025 is going to be crazy. Pokemon's Pokemoning, and Magic is going nuts. The end of the year, I know that a few Magic people have sort of, however they data mined it or whatever, they're thinking that the last set of the year, which is the closest set, I believe, to when Gothic is rumored to come out. Like if they stick with, late October, early November, it's a Gothic set, probably want it to be around Halloween. That's when I think their last set is supposed to be like Avatar, The Last Airbender or something, and it's one of those universes beyond things. I think as long as Sorcery strategically releases it at a good time, I think that's okay. I don't know how well Avatar Last Airbender is going to be received. I know the Universes Beyond is, a hot button issue with the Magic community. I think you need to stay far away from when Final Fantasy releases, is for Magic, because I think that's going to be a huge hit. But yeah, that's just been my opinions. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said, thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care.